is entirely in you.
Definitely.
In you and your name. That's what people don't give a fuck about those three letters.
At all.
At all. They just know Terence Crawford's the best. And who he's fighting, who cares? Like, whatever it is, that's the big fight. It doesn't... WBO, WBC, no, IBF. Nobody gives a fuck.
They don't.
I always say I never understand why we become champion have to pay for a belt. Keep that shit.
Yeah.
Keep it.
As long as they paid for the sanctioning bodies. But Crawford left out one, and that was the WBC. So, by default, on paper...
Joe Rogan just ignited a storm. In a fiery and unfiltered rant, he tore into the WBC after they stripped Terence "Bud" Crawford of his super middleweight championship and pulled his boxing license. And honestly, it's hard to argue with him. This isn't simply about a belt being taken away. It's a clash between a trailblazing athlete who carved his name into boxing history and a governing body acting like it holds the ultimate claim to that legacy.
Belts don't mean nothing. We paying for the belts.
How much do you have to pay?
We gotta pay like, what, 3%?
3%?
2%, 3%. Like,
that's crazy.
Definitely.
That's so
like,
crazy.
It's like I'm paying you to make me a belt.
Rogan didn't mince words. He voiced what countless fans have suspected for years. Boxing has become a pay-to-play arena where even the top fighters must bow just to earn the title of champion. Crawford. He finally drew the line and said enough is enough. The fallout has rippled far beyond the ring. From Keshin Davis defending Crawford like family, to Tapamo Lopez firing back, and even the iconic Jimmy Lennon Jr. quietly acknowledging the sport's darker side, the conversation has exploded. But among all the voices, Joe Rogan struck the deepest chord, not because he's a boxing insider, but because he voiced what the world has been thinking all along. So, let's dive into exactly how this drama unfolded.
And do you have to pay 3% to each individual's section?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, some of them is different. Some of them is 3, some of them 2. You know, so it's like, I'm paying for you to come out here and watch me fight to give me a belt that, you know what I mean, I'm already paying for.
Rogan's tirade quickly went viral, sparking a massive debate about what this chaos could mean for boxing's future. What began as a quiet controversy quickly turned into a wildfire. On December 3rd, the WBC formally stripped Terence Crawford of his super middleweight crown, citing unpaid sanctioning fees for his last 2 fights, his blockbuster victory over Canelo Alvarez and the earlier match against Israil Madrimov. The controversy alone was enough to ignite discussion, but here's the kicker. Crawford reportedly walked away with $50 million from the Canelo fight, a sum that sent shockwaves through the boxing world.
5% of his fees to go there. So Crawford made in the ballpark of $50 million. The WBC assessed $300,000 sanction fee, with $225,000 going to the fund and $75,000 going to the WBC.
Even after putting on a historic performance that made the WBC shine, Crawford was hit with accusations of skipping what they labeled his dues. And just like that, the organization moved swiftly, stripping him of his title and revoking his boxing license.
I always say I never understand why we become champion have to pay for a belt. Keep that shit.
Yeah.
Keep it. I'm not gonna work 14, 15 years for me to pay for something I worked for. When I went to the Olympics, did I pay for that damn medal?
Enter Keshin Davis, one of the sport's brightest up-and-coming talents, unafraid to voice exactly what's on his mind. In a heated interview, Davis spoke the truth that many fighters have felt but rarely say aloud. I never understood why we're forced to pay for a belt, something I fought my entire life to earn. Why should I pay for what's already mine? When I competed in the Olympics, did I have to buy that medal? No. So keep the belt. You're not taking my money.
No. If I walk into this arena without this belt, is these people still gonna show up? Yes. So keep the belt. You know.
That statement went viral almost instantly, flooding every major boxing page within hours. Davis didn't stop there. He doubled down and revealed he told the WBO the exact same thing. In his eyes, paying for belts is an outdated practice, completely unfair, and frankly disrespectful. To him, championship belts are meant to represent honor and achievement, not act like a receipt. No fighter, he argued, should ever be forced to purchase validation for victories they already earned with sweat, sacrifice, and blood.
I agree with Terence, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't agree with paying for belts. That's why, for all the sanctioning bodies, you know what I'm saying? And I told this to the one that I was under, the WBO. I told him I said, I don't really believe in that. And he explained why. And I was like, okay, but I still don't agree with it. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm always going to be, like, for not paying for belts. Because what the fuck are we paying it for?
Fans went crazy over it. This wasn't just about backing Crawford anymore. It felt like a warning shot from a younger generation that's fed up with outdated systems. And just as the conversation hit peak volume, Joe Rogan jumped into the fire. Picture him on his podcast, leaning into the mic, voice calm but loaded with intensity, that familiar blend of disbelief and controlled outrage. He broke it down in plain terms. Why are fighters being charged massive sums for a belt they already earned in the ring? That's not tradition, that's punishment for winning. Fans aren't loyal to logos, he said. They care about real fights and real fighters. And from where he was sitting, the WBC didn't look authoritative, it looked greedy. That blunt take spread across social media like gasoline on an open flame.
It was entirely in you.
Definitely.
In you and your name. That's what people don't give a fuck about those 3 letters.
At all.
At all. They just know Terence Crawford's the best. And who he's fighting, who cares? Like, whatever it is, that's the big fight. It doesn't... WBO, WBC, no, IBF, nobody gives a fuck.
Those words hit harder because they came from someone outside the inner circle. Joe Rogan wasn't protecting boxing's business interests. He was standing up for the soul of competition itself. He voiced what promoters refuse to say, what broadcasters tiptoe around, and what many fighters are scared to admit. In his view, the sanctioning structure in boxing has turned into an outdated system, one that survives by draining the very athletes whose talent keeps the sport alive.
It's game the system.
Yeah.
You know, because the system is you get to a certain point in time, you're a champion, make as much money as you possibly can, you retire, and then there's no more money. Now with what's going on in like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, like you can get paid insane amounts of money. Like people just want to see you perform.
Crawford was indeed for the undisputed. However, it was indeed, now hear me out, Punch. This was indeed accurate as long as they paid for the sanctioning bodies. But Crawford left out one, and that was the WBC. So, by default, on paper, he's not undisputed.
For him, the logic was straightforward. Rules are rules. Teofimo Lopez argued that the Canelo-Crawford fight was billed as undisputed, but Crawford never paid the WBC fee. On paper, that changes everything. Lopez pointed out that he paid for his own sanctioning belt, and if the system applied to him, then it should apply to anyone. His stance was clear: if you want the title, you accept the rules, even when those rules are ugly. In his eyes, Crawford wasn't some brave symbol of change. He was a disruptor challenging a structure every fighter before him had followed, even if they resented it. Fans weren't convinced. The backlash under Lopez's post was immediate and brutal. People fired back, saying the rules themselves are broken, that he was defending corruption, and that this had nothing to do with respect and everything to do with money. And that's exactly where Joe Rogan's fury landed hardest, because it exposed a long-standing double-standard boxing has tried to ignore. While Rogan and Lopez sparred over principles from opposite sides, another legendary voice decided it was time to step into the conversation.
What the hell is going on? I gotta pull over for this one. What the hell is going on? We talking about anybody that bring up Terence Crawford name? You already know I'm listening, right? Yeah, somebody said that. Can Terence Crawford beat everybody on Floyd Mayweather's resume?
Then came Timothy Desert Storm Bradley. His video didn't blow up because of politics or business talk. It exploded because of pure emotion. Bradley wasn't interested in fees, paperwork, or sanctioning rules. He wanted to talk about greatness, plain and simple. He went straight at the critics, saying anyone who believes Crawford wouldn't run through Floyd's competition is completely delusional. According to Bradley, Crawford would have torn through every name on Floyd's resume: stronger punches, deeper skill set, and a ruthless edge turned all the way up. And then he raised the stakes even higher, calling out Floyd Mayweather directly. If Floyd really believes he's the greatest of all time, Bradley said, then step in the ring with Terence Crawford and prove it. Let the world see how that story really ends.
Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Terence Crawford smashed everybody that Floyd ever fought. Yup, Manfredi, done. Fried. Crawford would have beat him, dominated him, knocked him the hell out. Crawford hit harder than Floyd. Crawford hits harder than Floyd. You understand that? Killer instinct is on 10. Oh, man, come on, man. Crawford can do everything Floyd can do, and he can do it from both sides.
That clip sent fans into a frenzy. Bradley wasn't simply standing up for Crawford. He was reshaping how people view his legacy in real time. His message was clear. Belt or no belt, stripped or not, Crawford's status in boxing history is already locked in. Then came one of the calmest and most respected voices the sport has ever known, Jimmy Lennon Jr. Unlike everyone else, he didn't take a side, but what he chose to say carried more weight than outright criticism ever could.
I think, like Mauricio, I'm going to take a high road, but I will say it's unfortunate for the sport of boxing. I think talking about money too much and it is not the high road. And so we've seen some kind of ugly and not so pretty things, exchanges happen here. And so it's unfortunate, but it is a reality.
He summed it up with quiet honesty. It's an unfortunate moment for boxing, filled with uncomfortable exchanges, but none of it is new. This same conflict has played out for decades. A fighter refuses to pay sanctioning fees, and suddenly the entire system is questioned. It forces people to confront the real role of sanctioning bodies in the sport. In that sense, this situation goes far beyond Crawford. It's a cycle that's repeated for generations. Fighters climb to greatness, organizations cash in, and when someone finally pushes back, they're made an example of. Lennon delivered it calmly, but the meaning behind his words was explosive.
There are some things behind the scenes that I have heard about that aren't necessarily public yet, which makes this an impasse. So I think both have their reasons, but I would hope that this would be out of. I don't like it being as a part of the news. There's some ugliness about it, and that's unfortunate. At the same time, this has been happening in boxing for a long, long time.
Boxing's power balance has always been shaky, and Crawford's refusal to bend just exposed the cracks for everyone to see. At its heart, Joe Rogan's explosive rant wasn't only about one fighter, it was about every boxer who's ever been forced to pay for acknowledgement they already earned. He argued that the WBC and similar organizations have flipped the priorities, turning boxing into a business first and a sport second. Fans immediately nodded along, because this goes deeper than money. It's about dignity. Terence Crawford won his championship inside the ropes, not behind a desk. Yet a few missing payments and some paperwork were enough to erase it on record. That reality made everyone pause and ask the same question. If greatness can be wiped away by an invoice, what's the point of chasing it at all? Rogan's anger, Keshan Davis's defiance, and Timothy Bradley's unwavering support all lead to one conclusion. The system isn't just old, it's fundamentally broken. Right now, Crawford sits outside the WBC's favor, stripped of his belt and license. But somehow, he's never looked stronger, because what began as controversy has grown into something much bigger, a movement.
You're not paying me, I'm paying you. So
Right.
the only one that really matters is the ring belt because it's free. It's free. Like, why do I gotta pay to be champion?
Yeah.
Once you start thinking about that, like, dang,
Yeah.
I'm paying all this money.
And the Ring Magazine belt is as respected as any of them.
Yeah, that's the #1 guy in the division.
From Rogan's viral eruption to Davis standing his ground and Bradley showing open respect, a new wave of fighters is finally challenging the system that's controlled boxing for generations. And here's the irony. By stripping Crawford of their belt, the WBC may have handed him something far more powerful. A platform. A spotlight. A voice people are actually listening to. Terence Crawford may have lost a title on paper, but he gained something bigger, a legacy as the man bold enough to push back against the machine. And if the reaction from Joe Rogan is any indication, the WBC may have started a battle they weren't prepared for. So now it's your turn. Was Rogan right to call out the system, or did Crawford bring this storm on himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from finished.
Got more skills than Floyd. Yeah, he would have beat everybody ass. Everybody. Zeb Judah too. That's my guy. Crawford would have got your ass too. Yup. That's my guy.
Alright, everyone. If you want the latest boxing news, biggest moments, breaking stories, and non-stop action, make sure you subscribe to Knockout Updates and hit that notification bell so you never miss a drop. Don't forget to check out our other videos too. Until next time, stay sharp and stay ready. Peace.